Hi guys, this is Wayne over at the Alchemical Tech Revolution YouTube channel. Tonight I'm going to be talking just a little bit about something I've been noticing lately all over the media. Something I'm getting a little bit tired of seeing because you could see the social engineering tell on the face of it all. And since we're not doing a live stream tonight on Secrets of Saturn channel, Jason is traveling. He's going to be filming, several parts for a film that he's working on with Dr. Andrew Kaufman. So he's not going to be available. So I figured I would just put something out there, just a short little video, just so people have something to, take a look at when they get a chance. I know a lot of times people look forward to the Wednesday night streams. This isn't going to be anywhere near as long as that, just a couple of minutes here. But I figured I should put something out there. And I wanted to talk about the new social engineering tell I see in the ether out there that they're using. And this is something they're calling the quote unquote super spreader phenomena. Okay? So I just had to come on and poke a little fun at that whole idea because man, it's ridiculous. They're saying that Trump having these big what do you call it, rallies and stuff like that are super spreader events. And then I just saw something on one of the other news programs or something that was on. They were talking about some big soccer player or something now supposedly has the quote unquote the pandemic COVID-19. So now this guy supposedly has it, and then they showed him, with a picture of all his teammates at this big long dinner table where they were all having dinner at this big super spreader event. So that's the big thing they're trying to push now. They're pushing the narrative that we're into the second wave. Here comes the second wave, the twin-demic, all of this stuff. They're trying to gear this whole thing up for this whole fall and winter flu season to try and turn it into something scary. And, they're once again trying to keep people from gathering together in large groups and just go about their normal day-to-day lives by just spreading the paranoia about this stuff. If you go to, say, a party or a festival or anything like that, this is a super spreader event, and you're going to get sick and you're going to pass around this disease that you don't have to people you don't know, and they're going to all get sick with it, and it's terrible, and they're the only hope is the vaccine. Oh, the only hope. Now they're even saying that in the media I've seen the past 2 days now, they're talking about that now they've seen the first case in the United States of somebody who's caught COVID twice. Okay, not just once, but twice, and it wasn't like a reinfection from the first time. This was a new infection of COVID-19. Okay, yes, this is what they're claiming. So now they're claiming you could catch this magic disease. It could make you sick. You could get really sick from it. You could recover from it, and then there's no guarantee that you have immunity to it then. And you could get sick from it again and recover from it again and get very sick again. And there's no guarantee for immunity. So, let me get this straight. So they're saying now you could catch this disease and actually have it really bad, and your body can actually fight it off and ward it off and get rid of it, and you could recover from it and heal from it. But then you could catch it again. Your body's not going to, be able to necessarily produce immunity to this disease. And they've seen evidence of this now as somebody's gotten it twice. So using whatever flawed methodologies that they use to try and track these things or convince people that this is real, regardless of all of that. So now they're saying basically this disease, not only is it, smart enough that it knows what events to strike, not protests. Don't want to hit no protests or riots or anything like that. But a political rally for a Republican candidate, yeah, that's definitely a super spreader event. But beside that, so now they're saying that people could catch this, and just, the fact that you've had it and recovered from it doesn't mean that you can't catch it again. Oh, that's awful. How many colds did you guys have last year? and it kept coming back. It's the same kind of idea. This is a coronavirus. They've been around forever, and it's a common cold. basically, is what it comes down to, or it's a relatively mild illness. And when something like this allegedly mutates the way that they're claiming, generally it becomes less and less severe as time goes on until it peters out. So, they're worried about this, people becoming sick from it again, from a mutated strain of it or something like that. So they're saying that your body's natural immune system, which has been fighting these things off for time immemorial, all of a sudden is unable to deal with this particular virus. So the only thing that we could do, since, your body can't, guarantee immunity to this once you've had it and recovered from it, the only thing that they could do is the vaccine. The vaccine's magic, folks. Yes, because your body can't guarantee, you actually getting the disease that they're talking about and recovering from it, and your body eliminating it and developing immunity to it. That doesn't guarantee immunity now, but somehow the magic vaccine will guarantee your immunity to it. It's remarkable. This is the cure. They talk about the vaccine as the cure for this thing. It just astounds me to no end, the lengths that they go to with this stuff to push this whole narrative, and it's all just ridiculous on the face of it. And they have people, out there fearful about actually going about their normal lives and doing normal things, because they might attend a party or something and this will be a super spreader event. So I'm seeing that all over in the entertainment and the media and everything out there being pushed. They're promoting this whole idea of super spreader events that are going to push this thing and make people really sick, and people could get reinfected with it. If you already had it, that's no guarantee you're not going to get it again. You're going to get it again. This is the second wave. This is the twin-demic. This could make you really sick. It's really, really bad, folks. Make sure you wear your mask out there, because somehow the magic of the face mask protects you almost as much as the magic of the vaccine will. But it's counteracted if there's another person that's not wearing one. Hold on. It's all just nonsense and silliness. And they keep pushing this and calling it science. And that drives me insane that they call this science. Scientists say you could be reinfected with this now. Even though you may have had it and recovered from it, you could still get it again. Yeah, you don't say. And, how's that vaccine thing going to work out? How many different flu vaccines are there? How many people die of the flu every year? How many people still get the flu, even though they've had their flu vaccine? Why haven't they developed coronavirus vaccines in the past? Why is there no cure for the common cold, folks? Because it's a coronavirus, and they've been very unsuccessful at making vaccines for coronaviruses. They don't work. It doesn't work. It's a waste of money, effort, and manpower to even pursue this avenue of treatment for this thing, assuming it's a real thing, okay? In my view, it's probably something. There's probably something out there making people sick that they're labeling as COVID-19. But what this is not how they're describing it, and not what they're describing it as. And it's not spreading how they're saying it's spreading, and it's not as severe as the media is pushing it to be. Now, there are people that have died, and that's tragic, but if you look at the all deaths numbers for the years, for the year, compared to the last 2 years, we're on track to have a lower death rate for the entire year this year than we have the previous 2 years. So that's telling me there's not anything unusual going on in, the epidemiological side of things when it comes down to it. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm no scientist, okay? I'm not a doctor, I'm not an epidemiologist, nothing of that sort. I just use a little bit of common sense, okay? And a little bit of common sense goes a long way in this world, but it's something that's sadly lacking to the brainwashed masses. So when you're looking and you don't see necessarily a spike in the overall number of deaths, are you seeing something new or novel, as it would be defined? This is nothing new or novel. I mean, this stuff's been going on all along. Is it maybe a new, different strain of a cold or a flu or something that's going around? It's possible. But overall, the numbers haven't spiked to where it would be even considered to be near pandemic levels. If you look back in 1969, they held Woodstock. Okay, they would call this a super spreader event now, but back then they had Woodstock. There were millions of people died that year from that particular strain of the flu that was so severe. They didn't lock everything down like they are now. This would have never happened back then because society back then would not roll over and capitulate the way they do now. We're so complacent right now that we'll just let them do whatever. I still see people walking around here wearing the masks all the time. And a lot of them, you talk to them about it, they know the mask does nothing. They know it's useless, but they wear it anyway. More out of fear of government, than fear of getting sick with this illness, whatever it may be. So that should tell you something right there. This is soft tyranny right now. The hard tyranny's coming if they get their way. And it's going to be total totalitarianism when it comes down to it. Once they get this cybernetic control grid in place that they want and that they're utilizing the medical system to get, guaranteed, this is going to get a lot worse. So we need to speak up, remove our consent from this system, and let them know, hey, we're not playing that game, man. So stop complying. That's what I would say. Quit complying with tyranny, because that's all you're doing. If you think you're saving somebody from an illness by putting on this mask, first of all, if you're not sick and you don't have symptoms, this is one of the biggest lies ever proffered to people, that you could give somebody something that you don't have by not wearing a mask. I mean, think about that for a minute. They've convinced people that you could have this disease and be sick with it. Well, not be sick. You could not be sick and still spread it around and carry it around simply by talking. They don't want you to talk. That's what it's about. Shut your mouth. That's why they have you wearing the mask. Shut up. That's what they're telling you. Think about it. It's illogical on the face of it. No other disease in the history of medicine that we could see has ever been able to be spread from person to person without you displaying any symptoms or showing any signs that you're ill. It's illogical. This is the first time ever that they've seen something like this, or that they claim they've seen something like this. It's nonsense. And all of that was based on just one study that was later found to be flawed, but they never corrected it. They never corrected it in the public open literature. And that's the problem. They did one study. It was a lady from Germany who went to China and came back to Germany, and they said in the original study, they claimed that she had no symptoms when back in Germany and somehow managed to spread this illness to other people in Germany without having any symptoms. Well, when they went back and later on in part of the peer review and double-checked back on those facts, they found out she did have symptoms when she went back to Germany, and they knew it, and she was exposed to people while she had symptoms. So that whole asymptomatic crap, that you could spread this asymptomatically, that's the study this is based on. It's been disproven. Okay, we could use their term debunked if we want. It's been debunked, but you won't see it debunked by the mainstream science people out there that are pushing these things, because it doesn't fit their narrative. Okay, they can't let that word get out. So the asymptomatic spread of it, it's never been proven. It's never been seen in any other disease. It completely defies logic and reason, and it's stupid. Let's put it simply. It's stupid to think that you could get somebody sick with something that you don't have or that you're not sick with. Okay? It completely defies logic on the face of it. But this is the narrative they push, and now they're talking about super spreader events when bunches of people get together and gather together. You know what, folks? Bunches of people have been gathering together in large groups from time immemorial. It's never been that much of an issue. Yeah, people get sick. It's an accepted part of society. Up until now. Now I guess we're just going to bathe in hand sanitizer and wear masks and stay like 20 feet away from everybody and sit in our cars to go to rallies or something like that, and make sure you park social distancing apart from the other cars. It's ridiculous on the face of it. But this is what they're pushing. And now they're pushing the whole narrative that you could, if you attend one of these, it's a super spreader event. Be careful with the super spreader events. And it's just ridiculous. And I just sit back and I laugh at it. And I think we all need to do more laughing at this total nonsense BS that they just keep pushing at us. It's like, at this point, enough people have had enough of this that they're seeing through the facade that they're using. How many people do you guys know personally that have, first of all, had this, second of all, been very sick with it, and third of all, maybe have died from it? Would it be any more than, say, something that you would see from, like, the common flu? I don't know. I really don't see much of a difference, like, in the numbers of people I know who have been sick with something. And it's just one of those things, but they're just pushing this whole narrative. They want people to live in constant fear of this and be afraid to leave their homes and go out and do things in public and gather together and, freedom of assembly. That sounds familiar. Is that in some important document somewhere? Maybe. And maybe it has something to do with political corruption, freedom of assembly. I don't know. I digress, though, folks. But yeah, I mean, you could see the game they're playing with this, and it's a game. Make no doubt about it. They use game theory operations in everything they do. They use all kinds of different formulations and mathematical concepts and stuff from game theory concepts all the time to work these things out. They use supercomputers with algorithms to figure out to about 99% certainty how people are going to react to different scenarios that they put forth. They war game these things out very well. For instance, this one was war gamed out pretty effectively in the event 201 that took place on October 18th, 2019 at Johns Hopkins University in New York City. They did an actual simulated event that was a simulation of this very thing, a coronavirus pandemic. The very same thing that, not so coincidentally, cropped up just a couple months later. Okay? So they've war gamed this stuff out very well. And some of the scenarios they actually had placed in that Event 201 thing were right on target with how things happened here in the real world with this whole thing. So if people are interested, they could go look up Event 201. It's on Johns Hopkins website. I think it's the Center for Health Security or something like that. It's a sub page under Johns Hopkins website, and they have the Event 201 scenario. Everything's on there. There's all kinds of videos and stuff you could watch of it. You could read about the scenario, the tabletop exercise they ran, simulating this thing, how it all started, and everything, right down all the details with it all, and how it's coronavirus. And they even gave away stuffed toys at the end of the event of a little coronavirus. I kid you not. You could look that up too. That's out there in the open literature and on the internet. So, and by the way, it was funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation and the World Economic Forum. That's an interesting combination right there too, isn't it? Amazing how these people all have their little hands in all these different pies. But anyway, the whole point of this is, don't be afraid of the stupid nonsense. Take a look at it and laugh at it, because you know it's not, like the way they're pushing it, you know it's nonsensical on the face of it. Super spreader. I just can't. I can't. It gets more and more ridiculous as time goes by. Anyway, thanks guys for hanging out with me. Like and subscribe. I'll catch you later.